Most coaches hitting 8K a month think their problem is more outreach, more DMs, and more cold calls. But here's what no one's actually telling you. The reason you're stuck isn't because you're not hustling hard enough. It's because you're invisible to the people who actually want to pay you. I'm going to show you the exact framework which I personally use to grow an audience of 0 to 300,000 plus followers on Instagram, and how we use it to flood our clients' businesses with inbound leads. These are people who already trust them, people who already see them as the authority, and people who are ready to buy before they even hop on the call. By the end of this video, you'll understand the 5 psychological triggers that get people to buy from you instead of your competitors. This is even if they have better testimonials, bigger followings, and even fancier marketing. You'll see why most content gets ignored, why your best posts aren't converting, and the exact system that we personally use to turn your Instagram into an authority engine which literally converts for you while you even sleep. And just to make it clear to you, this isn't another post more reels video. This isn't about going viral or dancing in front of your phone. This is the exact architecture behind authority-based content. The exact infrastructure that separates 8K a month coaches from 30K a month category leaders. And here's the part that's actually going to piss some people off. If you've been posting on Instagram for 6 months straight and you're still stuck under 10,000 followers, it's not the algorithm, it's not the niche, and it's not that Instagram simply doesn't work for B2B. It's simply because you're creating content like a consumer and not like a strategic operator. Stick with me till the end because I'll show you exactly what that means, and you'll honestly never look at personal branding the same way again. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing which I want to talk about is you need to start posting like a girl. You didn't hear me incorrectly. I genuinely mean this, that you need to start posting like a girl. Now, something that I've really noticed, especially in male creators, is they really deviate away from posting valuable content. They're always going to be like, because they're thinking with their logical mind and not with their emotional mind, they're always going to be making sure that they're giving out as much value as possible. They're giving out all of their secret frameworks. They're giving out all of the value in the world, and they're revealing pretty much everything that is a part of their paid programs as well. And simply because of the fact that they're hungry for followers, they're hungry for vanity metrics, and they feel that if they keep on giving over and over again, that somehow their audiences are going to be compelled enough to actually buy from them. But one thing that you really need to understand is people will always buy with emotion and justify with logic. This is something that everyone in our industry knows about, but it's really hard for them to actually implement this. And this is something that you really need to dial into your mind, that you need to be making sure that you're building an emotional connection with your followers and you're not just always spurting out free value. This is one thing which I've personally noticed with this one creator, and her name is Shelby Sapp. I'm pretty sure that you've heard of her, but she's basically in the sales niche. And I've noticed that she's going to make some videos around basically giving people information about sales. She's going to make some videos about how she just bought her dream car. She's going to make some videos around how she helped one of her students buy her dream car. But she's not always going to be spurting out free value, which is something that a lot of you guys keep on doing over and over again in the hopes that somehow you're going to attract people to buy from you. But what did I say? People buy with emotion and justify with logic. So you need to be making sure that you're ticking all 3 of these boxes whenever you're posting content on Instagram especially. These 3 boxes are vulnerability, value, and proof. So notice how I referenced Shelby in this case. She's going to make some videos about value. So as an example, she's going to create some videos around 3 most common objections that people are going to have when you're dealing with high ticket sales and how to overcome those objections. And this is going to be a simple FaceTime style talking head video. And in some videos, she's going to be giving some vulnerability. She's going to be saying that, I've been working my hardest for the past 1 or 2 years, and it's now really starting to get to me because I feel like my mind has been in a blender for the past, 700 days. And she's going to be a little bit vulnerable with you guys. And the reason this is so important is because I heard my mentor say this one time that to actually be a category leader, you need to be vulnerable, because people don't always follow those kinds of people who are too perfect. So perfection is actually a lie, and people are always going to, and especially coaches and consultants are always going to try to be perfect in front of their audiences. But these kinds of creators like Shelby and like a lot of other creators which I've now started to see pop off on Instagram, they're going to be creating videos in which they're going to be a little bit vulnerable. They're going to reveal their struggles, and some people have this pre-esteemed notion that if they're going to be vulnerable in front of their audiences are not going to trust them, but it's actually the other way around. So you need to be making sure that you're being vulnerable at the same time. Yes, create valuable content, but at the same time, be vulnerable at the same time. Then thirdly, proof-based content. So I referenced another video of Shelby in which she basically started her video saying that I bought my student her dream car, or I helped my student buy her dream car. So this is basically proof-based content. And this basically proves to the market that you are really who you say you are because you're doing it for other people. And another thing from a psychological standpoint, from a marketing perspective, when people see you as the coach, having these intimate moments with other people where you're shaking other people's hands, where you're hugging them, this helps them make this parasocial relationship with you where it feels like they, the consumer, are hugging you, the coach, which is why they build this parasocial relationship, which gets them to really get into their buying behavior. So this is really powerful. So I don't want you to always be stuck in this valuable content bubble, because if you actually do that, that's going to get you to be in the middle. And something which I really emphasize on that is that being in the middle is the worst place to be, because you can either create content in which you're getting people to strongly disagree with you, or you can either create content in which you're getting people to strongly agree with you. I'm getting ahead of myself. We will talk about this later in the video, but you need to make sure that you're creating all three kinds of these videos and technically posting like a girl, because this is what's going to get people to enter the trust zone. And once they do enter the trust zone, it's just most probably going to be an inevitability for them to eventually buy from you. So the more people actually feel you, the faster they trust you. And the faster they trust you, the sooner they buy from you. So secondly, what we're going to be talking about is the psychology of hooks. Now, this is a topic which has been talked about so many times on Instagram that eventually it just lost its whole essence. So what I really want to talk about with you guys is you don't want to be creating generic hooks. And this is something which I see a lot of people and coaches and consultants doing just because of the fact that they start using ChatGPT for scripting. You should never use ChatGPT for scripting. Trust me when I tell you, even if you do want to use AI to script your videos, either use Claude. And honestly, if I were to show you guys the kind of prompts that we have, which we give to our clients when we're generating scripts for our clients, those are like proper like 2-3 page prompts which we like to use. And the reason for that is we like to give AI as much data as possible, because AI is, nothing when you don't give it enough context. And just typing into ChatGPT's chat that, write me a script for a 60 to 90 second scripted reel is simply just not going to be enough, and it's going to get it to churn out the kind of videos that are going to do absolutely nothing for you. And that's going to keep you in the same hellhole of consistently guessing that why isn't your content exactly working. And when we do this with our clients, we make sure we A, use Claude, and B, give it all the data that it needs so that it creates psychological hooks and not generic ones. Because an example of a generic hook is how to grow on Instagram. Okay. Now, in today's day and age, when there's so many coaches and consultants out there, these kinds of hooks are going to get lost in the middle. How to get clients online. This is another like generic hook. How to lose weight. This is something that people are going to do when they're especially going to start in the coaching consulting space. But psychological hooks are hooks which talk about specific microscopic problems which the ICP faces and which the ICP genuinely feels in their heart. So examples of psychological hooks could be, if you've been posting for 6 months and still haven't hit 10,000 followers, this is why. You're great at what you do, but your content makes you look average, and here is why. So it's really important for you to really label out the pain point by being super microscopic about it. And you need to be following this specific framework when it comes to scripting your videos, where you're labeling the pain point and calling your ICP's pain out in the start. Then you're creating emotional agitation, and then you're solving the problem using your specific method. This is something which I personally used, and I absolutely spammed the shit out of this scripting framework, and it got me to a point where I was generating 800,000 views every single reel in the personal development niche, and that got me to like multiple 5-figure months. So I would really recommend to you guys that you start doing this as well. And if your ideal client doesn't actually feel like you're reading their mind consistently, they'll never stop scrolling. And your ideal client needs to feel that this specific video is genuinely about me. This person really understands my problems. So the third point which we're going to be talking about is to stop killing your reach with automation. Now, I know that ManyChat is an amazing tool. I know that ManyChat is great for getting inbound conversations. Stop using it in every single reel. Most coaches, creators, and consultants basically think that they need to be posting or using an automation in every single one of their videos, just in the hopes that, if they do that with enough volume, it's going to get them more and more inbound leads, but it's going to actually do something really different. Here's what's going to end up happening. Let's say you have 100,000 followers, okay? You post for 60 days straight with ManyChat automations on every single one of your videos. Automatically, Instagram detects that this content isn't being posted by a real person just because of the fact that you're consistently going to be replying to those comments that your followers are posting with automated replies. And because of that, the Instagram algorithm is noticing that everyone has commented training, and every single one of those comments have been replied to by you with the words just sent the training into your DMs. And because of that, Instagram is consistently seeing that this content isn't actually being run by someone who is a real person. This is being run by a bot. Okay. And because of this, what's going to end up happening is when you do start using it for the first time with some DM setters in your DMs or DM closers in your DMs, it's going to get you amazing results in the start. And you're going to be like, why don't I use ManyChat on absolutely every single one of my videos? But it's going to be counterproductive, and I'll tell you why. Once 60 days, 90 days eventually pass, what's going to end up happening is you're going to burn out of those leads who are a part of your existing audience. Your audience is not going to grow more because all of your videos are signaling to the algorithm that this is a bot. Don't promote this person's videos to new audiences because you're exhibiting bot-like behavior. So instead, what I want you to do is I want you to use it a little bit more proactively. Don't use it in absolutely every single one of your reels, only use it in 50% of the reels. And 99% of coaches and creators and consultants don't really know about this, but this is something that we've noticed across our own personal brands and across our clients' personal brands as well. So I want you to really be proactive about this and not use ManyChat across all of your videos, okay? I know it's super attractive. I know it gets you inbound leads. Just ease off on it a little bit, okay? So here's what chaos exactly is. If you're asking people to just DM me clients and you're running these automations consistently, these just signal to the algorithm that you're a bot, okay? Because these show dull engagement numbers and they show ghost-like comments. Authenticity, on the other hand, are real comment threads. These are like DMs and comments with people actually exhibiting their actual opinions and not just single words. And these are going to be like good, authentic behaviors from the consumer, going to be organic saves and engagement, okay? Another thing which I want to talk about in this specific point is you need to be making sure that you're creating content that is either getting people to strongly agree with you or strongly disagree with you. The reason this is so important is because when people strongly disagree with you, these people are going to be commenting hate comments under your videos. These people are going to be commenting different outlooks under your videos. This is going to be promoting your entire personal brand, all of the other videos as well. The second option is create content which gets people to strongly agree with you. Now, the reason this is so important is because people are either going to save your videos or they're either going to resonate with it so much that they're going to share it on their stories. And because of that, you're going to get more and more eyeballs every single day. And because of that, your personal brand is going to grow as a whole. So always keep this in mind, that either create content that gets people to strongly agree with you or strongly disagree with you, okay? Now, automation overuse leads to audience fatigue, and it leads to low retention, and it leads to algorithm penalty. And every time your content feels robotic, humans disengage and the algorithm punishes that faster than you actually realize. The next point we're going to be talking about is to understand the room that you're speaking in. A lot of people get this completely wrong. They're going to think that, they can take B2C content and B2C principles and just simply go ahead and implement it into B2B audiences, when that could not be further from the truth, because you have to understand that with B2C rooms in specific, it's going to include like people who are chronic scrollers. It's going to require you to create emotional videos. It's going to require you to create videos in which there are a lot of quick cuts. But on the contrary, in the B2B room, you need to be a little bit more dialed down with your whole content strategy, because these people just want straight up value. They don't want you to mess around with like all these kinds of like flashy edits and emotional takes. They want value, they want specific frameworks, and they want the whole no BS approach. And this is something which I like to do with my content as well. So just think of like the coffee desk aesthetic, a calm tone and a little bit more slower pacing. Let me just sip on my coffee real quick. So context changes conversion. Audience awareness leads to messaging style, and that messaging style leads to the retention curve. So if you're speaking like a guru to B2B audiences, they'll simply scroll, and if you speak like a friend, they'll actually listen to you. Now, the next point which we're going to be talking about is designing your content for bingeability. Now, I really want to highlight something here. I want you to imagine that you created a video which in your mind was absolutely amazing, right? It hit the exact pain points of your specific ICP. It was scripted absolutely amazingly. The editing on it was super clean. And you put that video out, and that video got a lot of impressions. It got a lot of views, and it got a lot of inbound conversations, a lot of conversations in the comment section as well. But you noticed that as 2 weeks passed, those inbound conversations basically just fatigued. And you had hopes that that video was going to get your whole personal brand to blow up, but that wasn't actually the case. And the success that that video specifically had was really short-lived. Now, I want to genuinely ask you this question, that why do you think that was? It was because that specific video resonated with your ICP quite a lot, but the rest of your channel did not resonate with your ICP whatsoever. So the way to really mitigate this is to design your content for bingeability. The reason this is so important is because I want you to genuinely imagine this. One of your videos goes out into the algorithm, your ICP really resonates with it. The rest of your channel is also super bingeable. This is scenario B, okay? So your video went out into the algorithm, your ICP really resonated with it, and then they checked out the rest of your channel and they saw that all of your videos were like super relevant to them. So they ended up scrolling across all of your videos, liking all of them, sharing all of them, saving them, commenting under them, following you. That basically signals to the algorithm that, these people, these consumers of this specific coach are really resonating with this coach's content. And so the algorithm basically starts pushing your content to more and more of those kinds of people who interacted so much with your content. So this is really powerful for you. So this is super powerful for you because this is going to get you to create this whole flywheel effect, which is going to get your whole personal brand to blow up. So a checklist for you is to make sure that you have a consistent aesthetic with your whole brand identity. You need to make sure that you have threaded storylines. And for this, I would really recommend to you that you start series from time to time. I want you to integrate clear CTAs between videos. I want you to create internal linking, that if you liked this, watch the other video. So if you've probably noticed this across a lot of YouTube channels as well, that when they're basically going through the meat of one specific video, they're going to get the viewer to watch another one of their videos after they're done with this video. Which reminds me that after you're done with this video, make sure you watch that one video of mine in which I've explained 3 types of content which print money out of thin air, because that is super relevant to the topic that we're talking about right now. And after you're done with this one, go ahead and watch that one. This is exactly what they do as well. So virality gets attention once, but bingeability turns that attention into addiction. Now, the next point that we're going to be talking about is the authority pyramid. And if I'm not wrong, this is the last point. Yeah. So the authority pyramid is, you need to make sure that you're integrating firstly system design. So this includes binge structure and automation balance. So what did we exactly talk about with bingeable content? That you need to make sure that you're following a consistent brand guideline and you're creating similar videos about similar topics so that your ICP, once they do stumble across one of your videos, they find it really easy and convenient to scroll down your channel and watch all of your videos and engage and comment and share and save all of them. Secondly, you need to make sure that you're creating automation balance so that you are reaching new people every single month. If you're going to start integrating automations into every single one of your reels, I can guarantee you that is going to stop happening and your followers are going to start capping. Secondly, trust dynamics. So what did we exactly talk about? Post like a girl. So for that, you need to make sure that you integrate authenticity and you create a mix of me and value content. Okay. So for this, what is really important is for you to post a little bit like a girl and showcase your vulnerability and showcase your life a little bit and something that happens behind the scenes as well. Okay. Now, thirdly, attention psychology. Now, this includes your hooks, your emotion, and your audience clarity. And again, as I said, that if you go to that video, 3 types of content that print money, and this is one of the videos which I created earlier, this is going to give you a little bit more clarity as to what kind of content and how to actually script that content for maximum conversions as well. So finally, your visibility is going to turn into your credibility, and your credibility is eventually going to turn into profitability, which honestly all of us want. So you don't grow by just shouting louder, you grow by structuring your signal so that people simply cannot ignore it. Okay, so I just gave you the entire framework which is required for you to build an authoritative and intentional personal brand. Vulnerability plus proof plus value equals trust. I told you about psychological hooks that make your ideal clients feel as though you're directly talking to them. But here's the reality, knowing all of the frameworks and actually executing on them are 2 completely different ball games. So I don't want you to be the kind of coach who watches this entire video and then saves it to their watch later and promises to themselves that one day I'll come back to it and actually implement these principles. I want you to be the kind of coach who takes action fast, because in the info space, speed is almost 90% of the time going to beat perfection. So I want you to be the kind of person who just throws spaghetti at the wall and sees what sticks. I want you to be the kind of coach who starts first and fixes later. And again, if you need my help with this kind of stuff, I've personally used all of these frameworks to build an audience of 0 to 300,000 plus followers on Instagram, build 2 thriving school communities with 350 plus active paying members with a pretty hefty backend in place, and generate multiple 5-figure months. And I help school-based coaches implement these exact systems by installing a simple 3-step offer ladder system. We first create optimized authority-based content on Instagram. We then reel those people into an optimized school community to warm them up. And then we upsell 10 to 25% of those school community members into a high ticket program. And all of this stuff is pretty much done for you. So if you want my help with this kind of stuff, just click the top link in the description and book your free one-on-one roadmap call where I'll break down your entire funnel and analyze your bottlenecks and just give you a ton of free value. And if it makes sense for you, we can go forward with working together. And if not, you can just use those principles for yourself and dial in your entire funnel and make a lot of money. At the end, remember that for those of us climbing to the top of the food chain, there can be no mercy, my friend. There is but one rule: hunt or be hunted. Thanks for watching.